talk about that, though.
No.
We're just geeking out a little bit. So, Ted, what's it like returning to comedy?
Fun, and very similar to my beginnings because the writer, Mike Schur, is so bright, and I was very spoiled with Les and Glenn Charles. And that writing team, it has the exact same flavor of being incredibly funny, but really smart, and that's fun.
And the concept is just, forgive the pun, out of this world.
Yeah.
When I saw the pilot, I thought to myself, no, really? She's going to wake up and discover she's somewhere else. But that's the plot. That's the good place.
Yeah.
Who came up with that? How did this happen?
Mike
What
Schur.
was your reaction when somebody told you this is what was up?
Well, I mean, I think we had similar experiences because I got a call from Mike Schur about a year ago and said, I have this idea. Can I just talk to you about it? I feel like it's for you, and let's just sit down. I can't get into it on the phone. I went into his office. I was already blushing from being flattered that he had called because he's just such a talent. Then he had me absolutely and literally on the edge of the couch listening to this tale that he was spinning about this idea that had been percolating in his brain that was very funny, but also like sort of was talked about what it means to be a good person and how your actions affect other people and that it takes place in the afterlife. And then he said, and when you picture this character, Michael, picture Ted Danson because that's who I want. And I said, no, I'm in.
Same thing happened to me. I had been listening to several writers talk about ideas, and Mike was just so incredibly bright. And this was, how are you going to pull this off? You know, so you were fascinated, and I had lots of questions, but it was just one of the brightest pitches I've ever heard. And if he didn't know something, he would say, I don't know. We're going to have to figure. He was ahead of you in the smart, which is really lovely. And I heard that Kristen had pretty much signed on, so that did it for me.
Well, you know, it's a little tricky, your show, because it's not heaven. It's the good place.
It's the good place.
You're not God.
I'm not. I'm middle management.
Right.
Yes.
And there's homes, and nobody has wings, and how would you describe what's happening in the show?
Okay, so I am the architect of this particular neighborhood. There are many neighborhoods in the afterlife, depending on the people that have been gathered together for that particular neighborhood. So it fits their desires, their essence. So I have created this particular one. Everything is just perfect, because they are the cream of the crop. And it's very hard to get to the good place because everything you do has a reaction, has a point value in that you either create some good or some bad in every interview you've ever done. You know, there's a consequence. So only the cream of the crop get there. And then my job is to make sure that these beautiful, sweet, amazing people have everything they could possibly want. And then all heck breaks loose because there's a glitch in the system.
An error has occurred, a clerical error, and in the pilot, the first few minutes, you discover, or my character discovers, that she is quite positive she did not meet the qualifications to get into the good place. She wasn't evil or malicious, but the person that he's describing is not me, Eleanor. It is clearly someone else, and I was brought here by mistake. They think I'm a different person. So the show is about me not only hiding my identity, but secretly learning what it means to be a good person and earning my place. Because the bad place is somewhere nobody wants to go.
We got a little glimpse of that in the pilot. But how do you continue? What can we expect beyond the pilot? How many episodes have you already shot?
We've done 10, and we're going to do 13 for the first episode, for the first season.
Oh my gosh, you're almost.
Yeah, almost done.
It's difficult to articulate where the show goes because part of the fun of this show are the reveals or the cliffhangers. Mike made a really interesting commitment to have the end of every episode really feel like a season ender, and we were like, "Oh, that's cute. You can't do that. That's not how things work. You can't make every episode be some time where the audience goes, what?" But he somehow has accomplished it, and what's interesting is that he every episode ender, the next episode takes place in the moment directly following. It's almost a complete
Right.
continuous, yeah, plot, because when he gives you this cliffhanger, you don't then jump to another scene. You have to see how that ends.
How do you redeem yourself?
And by the way, I can't wait. Let's have this interview again next
Yeah.
year so we can giggle over what you saw of the first year, because it becomes Alice in Wonderland like. It is just astounding. We are delighted every time we pick up a script and go, oh, did not see that coming.
So many curveballs, so many things out of left field in a great way where
Yeah.
you should expect the unexpected. And because it's the afterlife, you really get to play around with elements of non-reality. So
And we have a
anything's
special
possible.
effects team that is astounding. So we're not just saying, oh, we're in the afterlife, but it looks like, and we behave like every other show. We have a great special effects team, so it'll be visually a lot of fun.
I think a lot of Middle America, or a lot of the audience that will be watching this show, will, because you can't really talk about afterlife without getting into some religious elements. How are you avoiding that? And then do you fulfill that for the people who want that?
Sure. It's not about religion. And this is not the heaven that you were raised in your Christian storybooks or whatever religion you grew up in. This is not that heaven and hell. This is the good place.
This is about the ethical dilemmas
Yes.
of that particularly existed in Mike Schur's brain, that what if everything you did, irrelevant of any religion, had a point system? Cutting someone off in traffic was negative 10 points. Stiffing a waitress was negative 20 points. Those things are, through every religion, agreeable that they're not cool. And then there are a bunch of things that are agreeable to be very cool, So it's sort of taking that essence.
It's more about your actions in life, that
And-
they have
yeah.
consequences. They have a ripple effect that you may not be aware of.
It's not meant to be a comment on any
No.
religion or any actual heaven or hell existence. It's sort of generalizing it in terms of, what if life were a video game we all didn't know we were playing, and at the end of it we saw our point system.
So it's a little bit like that Jim Carrey movie, except he wasn't in the afterlife. What is that movie where he was on a TV show?
Truman Show.
Truman Show.
Yeah, it's slightly like,
There are
it
elements.
has elements of that with the bold colors,
Yeah.
and then like the people and the characters that we see, but not a commentary on anything other than just a very unusual
Yeah.
plot.
Right, and let's not forget, our mandate is to be funny. Our mandate is to make you laugh and maybe think a little bit, but definitely to make you laugh. So, yeah.
And how is it a departure, shooting the show, getting the storylines from what you both have done?
Well, I'm not talking about blood splatter, which is, I think, very refreshing for me. I'm chasing a giggle again, which makes me very happy. And I get to work with my buddy. We've known each other for a while now and are great friends. So to go to work and giggle over what we get to say and do and see, is a real delight.
And the chemistry that you have with your soulmate?
Let me describe what
Right.
chemistry is. Chemistry is relatively good actors with great writing. That's chemistry. Truthfully.
Not wrong.
It is.
Although I will say, this cast, and Ted and I have talked about this a lot recently, we knew each other going in. We didn't know these other 4 people. We thought, hey, at the table reads, they seem pretty talented, and they all seem like nice people. And every episode that we work with them, they become more shockingly
Yes.
charismatic and talented, and we are, when you're a part of something that you love this much, at least for me, I'm very giddy about next year coming here and having them on this couch
Yes.
here, because you're going to
Yeah.
be more interested in discovering who they are, because they are all rocket ships.
They are, and they've been given characters by Mike Schur that you are delicious. So you'll really
They're
want to
get
get.
their piece of the action.
Oh, dear
Oh yeah,
Lord,
yeah, yeah.
yes.
The show is barely about
We're the
us.
fronts. We're the fronts.
I'll take that for now. Right, Ted. Anyway, it's been a pleasure. I got the
You as
wrap,
well.
so I'll let you guys
Thank
go.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you, and
Yeah.
best
See you.
wishes. My kids watch the show.
Oh, good.
Yeah.